afternoon session. The book launch is for Is Your Child Ready to Face the World? The author of the book is Dr. Anupam Sibal. He is a renowned pediatrician and group medical director of Apollo Hospitals Group. The book, Is Your Child Ready to Face the World, will be released by Bina Kak. Bina Kak is a politician. She has been a cabinet minister for Rajasthan for 2 terms. She's also a social activist who runs a school called Umang, and I hear she is also an accomplished actress. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Anupam Sibal and Bina Kak. Anupam, I will invite you to the podium to say a few words about the book.
Good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here this afternoon, and I'm so happy that you found the time to attend this session. And I can see there are quite a few parents here, there are a few kids here as well. I typically ask parents this question: are you stressed about failing as a parent? And most hands go up. Why is it that parents are so stressed about failing as parents? They have this deep-rooted worry. There are several questions that haunt a parent. Will my child be successful? Will I be able to instill the right values in my child? Will my child be able to distinguish the good from the bad? Will my child choose the right path? Will my child be able to live up to the genetic potential with which he's been born? The list is endless, but there is one underlying sentiment: will I be able to discharge my duty as a parent? When we are doing the very best for our children, why do we have this fear? The reason why we are worried about failing is that there is a breakdown of communication between parents and children that I have noticed in the last 5 or 7 years. In today's world, where academics, extracurricular activities, so many gadgets really take so much of a child's time, it is becoming increasingly harder to communicate with them. So how can one communicate with a child? Well, we can give them lots of books to read, but we're going to have to pray very hard, because data shows that kids don't like to read anymore. Just about 30% of kids will pick up a book, and 17%, based on a survey done in the United Kingdom, would be embarrassed if their friends saw them reading a book. So books are not likely to work. We can tell them about our experience. There's, after all, so much that we have learned based on the years that we've lived. There's so much that we can share with them. But then anything that a parent usually tells a child is perceived as a sermon. And perhaps we should remember what Charles Wadsworth said: by the time a man realizes that maybe his father was right, he usually has a son who thinks he's wrong. So your own experience doesn't count for much. What I've tried to do in this book is really describe what I have tried to do at home with our son, based on my learnings as a pediatrician and interacting with thousands and thousands of parents and children every year. So what we tried to do at home was to get Devang, our son, to talk about something that he was interested in, and then really tailor a conversation around what he was interested in. And this would be something that he would lead. We usually went onto the web to get more information about the topic that he was interested in. And just to give you a couple of examples, when he wanted an iPhone and he was really pleading for an iPhone because everybody in class had an iPhone, I thought that was a perfect opportunity to talk about Steve Jobs' ups and downs, to talk about his determination, and that how much you can achieve in life if you're determined. When we were watching Shakira at the Soccer World Cup inauguration in South Africa, I thought that was an opportunity to talk about forgiveness and Nelson Mandela. So we talked about Mandela's life, and then a few days later we watched Invictus, which really reflects on Nelson Mandela's life and his times. So through several of these anecdotes, examples, what I've tried to capture in this book is what I have learned. Of course, I was very particular about using my experience frugally, as I was reminded of Mark Twain's words, and I quote: "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant, I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learnt in 7 years." So I've tried to capture 18 values, 50 do's and don'ts, and I have dedicated this book to the children I've had the privilege of looking after over the last 20 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anupam. I'll now invite Bina Kak to the podium to say a few words.
Good evening. Namaskar. Last year, I was admitted to the Apollo hospitals for a surgery. Going to a hospital obviously is a traumatic experience. Mine turned out to be a blessing. The CEO of the Apollo Hospital, a very compassionate human being, a very good doctor, reaching out to the patients admitted in his hospital. I got a very good friend in Dr. Anupam Sibal. Thank you, Anupam, for being there. It is indeed an honor to be here for the release of Dr. Anupam Sibal's book. I'm grateful to Anupam for this honor and this opportunity. Because of this, not just me, many of my family members have already read this wonderful book. Before reading this book, I had not known a pediatrician who called the children he treated on their birthdays. Right, Kirti? He's been calling your grandson as well, and mine too. Today, I know such a doctor, Dr. Anupam Sibal. I know a doctor today who does not just treat children, but he tries to make their dreams come true. About 3 months ago, when I was getting my treatment, Dr. Sibal called me, and he told me that a patient child with a very serious disease had just one dream: to meet Salman Khan. Knowing that I knew Salman well, Dr. Sibal asked me if I could help this dream come true. I was able to manage a meeting with Salman. And guess what? Dr. Sibal flew to Mumbai with his patient child, his parents, and had a wonderful time with Salman. They spent a quality time with Salman. In this book, I read another story like this. Another child patient, once again with a serious illness, once again from Pakistan, had a dream. He wanted to meet Sachin Tendulkar. The child knew Sachin Tendulkar was going to be in Delhi for a match. Through the medical doctor attached to the cricket stadium, Dr. Sibal contacted Sachin's doctor wife and arranged for a meeting between Sachin and the child in Sachin's hotel. Sachin played cricket with the child for more than half an hour. And in fact, it was the boy who got tired and he had to say no to cricket playing. But Sachin's humility really was, this child was very happy meeting Sachin, and went back to Pakistan. When I heard that Dr. Sibal had written a book, I assumed it would be about medicine, health. What else would a pediatrician write about? I was most pleasantly surprised to see that the book is not about illness, health tips, his knowledge, his profession, etc. The book is about life and values necessary to lead happy, meaningful lives. Like the Bhagavad Gita, as he has already mentioned, Anupam Sibal's Gita has 18 chapters, about 18 values, like human, caring, compassion, giving, gratitude. In this book, Anupam shares his own experiences and as a father to Devang, his son. Like Gandhiji said, be the change you want to see. Dr. Sibal says the best way to teach a child is through examples, not through lectures and preachings. This means parents have to be ready to face the world before they can teach their children to do this. Parents need to be humble and be willing to listen to their children and learn from them. There are so many amazing stories in this book. The one story which really touched me most is about a girl. Can I read the paragraph, please? So it's about children by nature are compassionate. Adults can, in fact, unknowingly discourage that compassion by trying to control how their children interact with their children, adults, and animals. So this story about, he writes, the parents of a 7-year-old girl brought her to me for consultation as they were concerned about her growth. She had not been gaining adequate weight over the last 6 months. Her parents felt that she ate well at home and seemed to have no medical problems. The girl studied in a school that was really far from her home. Her home was the first stop for the school bus in the morning and the last stop on the way back. This meant that she had to leave home at 6:45 a.m. and returned at 4 p.m. She only had a glass of milk in the morning before she left. In addition to lunch, her mother packed her 2 snacks, one for the morning and one for the afternoon. Her snack box and lunch box came back empty. As I calculated her dietary intake, I felt that she was being provided with adequate calories. I asked her if she liked what was provided to her, and she said yes. I asked her if she threw away her food sometimes, like children often do, and she said no. She did not seem to have any symptoms, and examination was absolutely normal. I was really at a loss. I felt there was no need for any further investigations as the child appeared to be in good health. I suggested to the family that we should meet again in a month. When I saw the girl again, she had not gained any weight at all. She had no symptoms, and again, the examination was normal. The mother reiterated that the snack box and the lunch box came home empty, and the girl had no complaints about the food she was provided. In the first consultation, she had been asked about throwing away her food. This time, I asked her, "Do you finish your snacks and meal?" She replied, "Doctor, my friend and I do." When I asked her to elaborate, she said, "My friend does not like the snacks and lunch she gets. Her mother died several months ago, and the nanny gives her the same snacks and lunch every day. If she takes the snacks and lunch back, she is scolded. As I also don't like her food, we throw it away, and she and I eat what I take to school." Her mother hugged her, and she started to cry. Her father asked her, "Why did you not tell us? We could have packed 2 snack and lunch boxes for you and your friend." The girl just smiled and said, "You know, I get goosies. I did not want to trouble you, Mommy." The girl had not thought twice about giving away half her food every day. She did not think about herself. For her, friendship stood above everything else. Well, I wish I had this book when I became a mother. I would have done a better job of mothering Anupam. Dr. Sybil in this book is challenging fathers, especially busy, successful fathers. Most discreetly, he's asking them if they are spending quality time with their children. Are they humble? Are they honest? Are they compassionate? I wish this book all the success and happy parenting to you all. Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I will now invite Dr. Anupam Sibal to read from the book. Afterwards, we'll do a very brief Q&A if people have questions in the audience.
Thank you very much, Bina ji, for reading from the book. I'm just going to read a little bit. Unlike many adults, children like to dream. When adults see their dreams unfulfilled, they lose enthusiasm. Children are different. I often see parents, teachers, and relatives inadvertently crushing dreams by telling their children their ideas are not feasible or warning them to be cautious and practical. I like to recount Monty Roberts' story to them. Monty Roberts grew up moving from one farm to another as his father was a horse trainer. In senior school, he was asked to write a paper on what he would like to do in life. He wrote about his dream to own a horse ranch and included a drawing of a 4,000 square foot house in the middle of a 200-acre ranch. When he received the graded paper, he was shocked to see an F. The teacher asked Monty to see him after class. The teacher explained to Monty that his goal was unrealistic, given the financial status of his family, and suggested that Roberts should resubmit his paper. Roberts told the teacher, "You keep your F and I will keep my dream." Years later, the teacher took 30 kids to spend a week at a horse ranch. That ranch belonged to Roberts, and he had hung his framed school paper with an F over the fireplace. As the teacher was leaving the ranch, he went to Roberts and told him that he had been a dream stealer. He was happy that Roberts had not given up on his dream. We should ask our children about their dreams. We should take them to see monuments that stand testament to someone's dream becoming a reality. The Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building, the Sydney Opera House, the Taj Mahal, among many others, stand today because someone dreamt about them. Every invention was born out of a dream: the light bulb, the DVD, the computer, the cell phone, the list is endless. We need to tell our children that the inventions that they are so dependent on are the result of someone's dream. Every museum has examples of dreams coming true. When children see what dreams can achieve, they start believing in theirs. Belief, as we know, is power. The next time our children talk about their dreams, we should let them. In fact, we should encourage them. Their dreams might just change the world. At the age of 3, Jody started having seizures and was prescribed an anti-epileptic medicine. The seizures kept on increasing in size, in severity and frequency, and there were days when she had 100 seizures in 24 hours. More anti-epileptic medicines were added, but the combination of medicines could not control the seizures. Jody's condition worsened. She developed partial paralysis and could not walk. Jody's parents were told that she suffered from Rasmussen's encephalitis. This is a rare inflammatory brain disease which is seen in 1 in 500,000 to 1 million individuals. It typically affects 1/2 of the brain and usually affects normal children. Symptoms are seizures and a rapid decline in learning, along with weakness of one side of the body as the disease progresses. Since the seizures continually increase, the only treatment is radical surgery. Radical, perhaps, is describing it mildly. The surgery involves removing half the brain. Yes, half the brain. A radical hemispherectomy is what this procedure is called. When Jodi's parents were told that the only treatment option was a radical hemispherectomy, they were devastated. Any parent would be. Imagine being told as a parent that the only effective treatment is removing half your child's brain, not 10%, 20%, 30%, but 50%. Jodi's family made the most difficult decision and agreed to surgery because this was their only hope. The hemispherectomy went off smoothly, but the post-operative period was trying. Jodi underwent prolonged rehabilitation and eventually regained her strength. The seizure stopped and her body learned to function with half her brain. Slowly but surely, she recovered. Jodi eventually went back to school. At 8, she topped 2nd grade. She completed her university degree. Now Jodi wants to be a teacher. Her mother, Lynn, is Specialty Director at the Hemispherectomy Foundation, helping families deal with Rasmussen's encephalitis. Lynn knows how to tell people never to give up hope. 7-year-old Gemma Hockley, a right-hander, had her left hemisphere removed. 4 years later, she was playing her favorite sports, soccer and basketball. At school, Gemma was recognized for her neat handwriting, an extraordinary achievement considering she now writes left-handed. So can any one of us give up hope? And the last bit, we want to change our children. After all, this book is about changing our children for the better. Our children want to change a lot of things too. Many of us are, however, do not know what our children want to change. We do not have that conversation because we do not have the time, or we believe that our child is too young to discuss this with. If we have this discussion, we will be surprised at what they say. I sometimes ask children about what they want to alter. They have lots to say. They don't want homework, no exams. They don't want their classmates to tease them. They want the world to be a happier place. For their parents not to be parents all the time. For parents to spend more time with them. They want quality time and individual attention. They want their parents to be role models. Among the different values that I have touched upon, the ability to recognize that change has to begin with oneself is the hardest to inculcate. We as parents must first be the change we wish to see in the world and our children. If we do not, we might as well not have this discussion with our children. We hate being criticized, but we criticize our children often. We like to be praised, but how often do we praise our children? We do praise them for winning awards and excelling in academics and sports, but do we praise them for smaller achievements? Do we praise them for good behavior? We take that for granted, don't we? If we stop criticizing them and become lavish in compliments, they will return the favor. A lady once brought her son to Mahatma Gandhi. She was worried that he ate too much jaggery and that it would damage his health. She requested Mahatma Gandhi to counsel her son. Mahatma Gandhi paused for a moment and then asked the lady to bring her son back after a few days. When they returned, Mahatma Gandhi told the boy that he shouldn't eat too much jaggery as it could be harmful. The lady was surprised. She asked Mahatma Gandhi why he had not said this at the first meeting. Mahatma Gandhi replied, "I needed a few days to give up eating jaggery so that I could counsel your son with conviction." Before we ask anyone to change, we need to look inwards. Next time we want our children to be more courteous or gentle or kind, we need to see if we ourselves are well-mannered. Before we reprimand them for being late, we need to think how often we have kept them waiting. We need to make a list of things we should change about ourselves before asking our children to change. We could ask our children to point out the things they would like us to change. We need to be prepared to see a rather long list and unexpected things. When I did this exercise with Devang, spending quality time and being calmer topped the list. I made an effort to block Sunday afternoons for quality time and made a conscious effort to be calmer. As Devang saw items on the list being ticked, he came up to me one day and said, "Dad, will you help me make a list of things I need to change?" Thank you.
We have time for one question only. Is there somebody with a burning question in the audience?
Good afternoon, sir. My question is, what made you write this book? What was the idea of writing the book?
Thank you very much for that question. Over the last 7 or 8 years, I've actually seen the communication breakdown between parents and children. We were raised in a particular fashion. we always said yes to our parents, and even if we disagreed, it was a very gentle kind of way of disagreeing, and we didn't really argue. But today's generation, like you have access to a lot more information that we did, and you want to put forward your points, and you want to be able to defend your position. And because if your parents say this is what they meant by saying, you will Google and say, well, I disagree because Google says this. And the reason, I was seeing this happening, and then one day I saw a huge argument between a daughter and a father, and the mother in my clinic, and the father started to cry. And that's where I thought something needs to be done about this, because I think parents today need help. It's not the kids. It's we who need to change, and we need to learn to adapt to be parents of this generation, which is smarter than we were, and the generation that really wants to be treated very differently.
Congratulations to Dr. Anupam Sibal, and thank you, Bina Kak, for being here to release the book. Congratulations. We hope it does well. Will you be signing? Yes. So there will be a signing at the book signing area at the back of the Rajnigandha Silver Pearls front lawn. Please do go over there, and Anupam will be there to sign for you.